and I know I'm indestructible.
My name is Scott Walker. I've been a tattoo artist for 4 years since last month. I wanted to be a tattoo artist because I just was always fascinated with them. Seeing them on older people even when I was a kid and stuff like that, and just really been fascinated with the whole thing. I don't really remember the first one I ever did. I did a lot of stuff when I was like 15, 16 years old, building homemade tattoo machines and stuff like that. The first tattoo I ever did out of a tattoo shop was when I was apprenticing. Some friends of mine that were in a touring band came and stayed, and he actually got a cheese nip on his arm because he wanted to get all the snack foods he eats while he was out on tour. And the guy who was apprenticing me, he let me do that one for my first one in the shop. So.
And I'm dancing now to a whole different drummer, and I'll keep listening to that great Joe's drummer, cause
it just depends on what the person's asking for, really. A lot of the times, like what I prefer to do a lot is like kind of the traditional Americana, they call it the old school style, I guess, you know, things like that, and try to just kind of put my own different spin on them. I also like to draw a lot from like the Japanese traditional tattooing styles, but I mean sometimes you just don't have the creative input that you want to because you're doing it for someone else, not for yourself, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to be creative for the other person, so you have to kind of take from their creative parts also, you know what I mean?
come on, tell me who are you? It's so fake now. Everything I see right through, I'm ashamed now to say I ever knew you.
My first portfolio was from just stuff that I had done while I was apprenticing. And then just from there, like just taking pictures of tattoos and like things that I wanted people to see that I liked or different things like that. I mean, I'm still building it today.
Seems so I'm just still here laughing. I'm gonna keep on going on. I can't get the
favorite tattoo. I don't think I have really one favorite, but I definitely do like to do like that Americana traditional style a lot. Those are my favorites.
And I know I'm indestructible, and I know
it's pretty much like back in New York, like around Coney Island, stuff like that, in the early 1900s. There's pretty much like 3 flash sheets that came out, and from those 3 flash sheets of tattoo art, they all kind of got traded around and people mixed and matched it. But it's basically your eagles, snakes, daggers, roses, different sparrow birds, you know what I mean, those old things, and people still use those today, but just build and build and build, and like it all came from those original designs, and people are still being creative with those same old things like even today. So
I'm indestructible tonight.
sure, yeah, I mean there's ones that I look back, and I mean there's even ones that I did even a few days ago that I think about, like, I'm not really embarrassed about, but like I could have done this, or I could have, you know, like you're always growing as a tattoo artist. Like you see things that other people do, and then you're like, you know, I could have done that when I did this other piece, or you know, like you're always growing, you know.
Play back, rock and roll, come and save me if you save me, that you will never.
No, I'm not shy about that really. Like I've tattooed ass cheeks or like butt cheeks. Never genitals or anything like that, but I mean thighs, hips, getting close. You know, I think that as long as I'm comfortable with it, I'm just doing my job, and as long as the people know that I'm not being sleazy or that I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, then they usually seem pretty comfortable, you know what I mean? I think there's an energy exchange that goes on while you're tattooing someone. You can kind of sense what they're feeling, and I think they can kind of sense what you're feeling, and the more comfortable you feel and the confidence that you have kind of rubs off on that person, you know what I mean?
Betray me and I'll give everything that you gave me, and I know that no one can ever ever.
I'd say just because where we're at, the most common age group is early 20s probably because of the college and the university and stuff like that. But I've tattooed guys and gals 70 years old plus, you know what I mean? Like, it's a big variation. And I mean, here in New Mexico, we can tattoo kids at 16 with parental permission. And I mean, so we got people from 16 to 80, you know. But I would say the average age group is probably early 20s to mid 20s.
Seems so I'm just still here laughing. I'm gonna keep on going now. I can't get distracted, and
I have to say my favorite color for ink has to be black, just because none of the other colors really have that much value without the black behind it to back it up. Like, the contrast from the black makes all the other colors so much more brilliant. So like a colorful tattoo without black doesn't really seem as much color because it doesn't have the contrast.
I'm indestructible, and I know.
I have no idea how many tattoos I have. I make a joke a lot, like, people will ask me, how many tattoos do you have? And I'll say 324.7, and they'll just look at me and I'm like, I don't know how many I have, you know? Like, I have layers, like, I have a lot of cover-ups and things like that, so I don't really know, to tell you the truth.
I'm indestructible tonight.
I think so, for sure. I think, like, something to remember while you're tattooing, like, you kind of got to give it your all, because, like, you're giving someone something that they have to have for the rest of your life, and, like, I think it's really, like, a pretty special gift to give someone. I mean, it doesn't go away, you know? And if you don't put your best into it and try to give them what they want, you know, like, we're only human, so, I mean, we sometimes people don't get exactly what they want, miscommunications or whatever, but, I mean, if you give someone something that they can look at and it can make them smile or remind them of something for the rest of their life, like, I think it's pretty intense.